Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's quick tip. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Mike. And today we'll be talking about fine-tuning your brand or spot colors in Ergosoft. So, in a few previous videos, we've discussed a name color library, which is your CMYK approved recipe for a corresponding LAB color. Now, let's say you have printed out that color library and visual or measurement assessment of some of those color values shows that you need to continue trying to fine-tune the color. You're close, but you're not there yet. Mike, how do we use Ergosoft to really dial in those recipes so that we're spot on with our design file?
Spot on. I like the reference to the spot colors. That's perfect. So we're going to jump into name colors. This is the name color library. As you mentioned, if you had a library with all of your brand colors, this is what it would look like. So we have our 5 colors here, and you print out the colors, and there's a few that you don't like maybe, or we actually have an option here. If you open up swatch books, we have a predictive delta E here. It'll show you what the delta E will be just about. So as you can see, we have orange and red that are the highest predicted delta E. So after you print out your chart, you look at those colors and you're like, you know what, these do need some more work. So that's what we're going to do. In the name color window, you select your color, and the bottom button down here, print similar color. I'm going to move this over just so we have a little bit more working area to show you everything kind of all at once. There we go. So this is print similar colors. Now, going through the different options, on the far left is color variation. This is where you pick your channels that you want to vary. If you do have extra channels, like orange and blue, those will also be listed here, down below black. So for this instance, I'm looking at 46 magenta. Let's say we printed this color out and it was a little bit too red. I need to vary magenta, so I'm going to choose magenta. The next option here is number of colors, few, medium, and many. Literally, that means how many options are you going to get? I'm going to do many because I want a lot of options. Color step, how far apart are all of those options going to be? For instance, we're starting at 46. So if the next color is 56, that's not that good because you're not going to be able to find a similar color. So I'm going to do fine. And I'm going to create this real quick and just show you what that looks like. Move this down a little bit. There we go. So you see this little orange bar. You probably can see on the left, it's more of a lighter orange. On the right, it's more of a darker reddish orange because it's subtracting magenta to the left and it's adding magenta to the right. The middle color is your starting color. If you want a little bit more fine-tuning options, let me show you this real quick. If you click settings, I was talking about how many colors, few, many, medium, how far the color steps, right? Fine, medium, or wide. Those are all configurable. So by default, it's 2. So each of these colors you see on the top left are 2 magenta apart. It's 46, 48, 50, and so on. So I'm going to actually set this to 1. And I'm going to do 4 for medium and 10 for wide. 1, 4. So I'm going to set all these to the same, right? And then on the bottom, you have few for the amount of colors. You have few, medium, and many. Few is 2, and what that is it's 2 in each direction. So you have your starting color, it'll add 2 to the right, and it'll subtract magenta for 2 colors to the left. So that's actually a 5 total. So I want a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to do 4 and 8 and let's just do like 12, right? So that's totally customizable. And I'll show you if I don't change any of these options and I hit add to job, you'll see it created a larger chart. So it gave me twice the options. And the color steps between them are actually 1 instead of 2. So if you look close enough to these, the ending colors are basically the same color because I doubled the amount of patches, but I doubled I halved the variation, if that makes sense,
So you changed that to 1% magenta variation
as opposed to 2.
in that
Yes.
example.
And then
And
I
you can,
doubled the amount of options. Yeah.
okay, I see.
Does that make sense? So that's just, I wanted to show you that because that's a very nice tool. This allows you to really figure out, I need a ton of options that are very close together. This is how you want to do it. Also, there's 4 options here for color variation. So let's say we want to do yellow as well. So now, probably going to want to move these down a little bit. Now, if I hit add to job again without changing anything, you're going to see it's going to create a very large grid. Now, since I'm already starting at 100 yellow, I can't add any more yellow. So it's only subtracting. So what this is the very first row is going to be the same as this row next to it, but then it's going to be subtracting yellow as you go down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So yeah, so let's say that let's say we're doing a sublimation process and my heat press is across the building and I need to match 2 or 3 more colors. Can I add those to this same job so I can just carry over 1 piece of fabric?
Yes, you can. Let me try this. We'll do the red one. Remember, the red one had a pretty high delta E as well. So the red one, if you look at the mix, it actually shows you right here as well. But if you look at the mix, we have a lot of magenta and a lot of yellow, kind of the same as the orange, which makes sense. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to hit add to job instead of doing create job. That'll make a new one. Add to job will add to the job that you still have in the back there. So I'm going to hit add. Let me move this over. There you go. So now you see you have a very large chart of red and a very large chart of orange. As soon as we close this, as soon as I hit close and I close this, hit OK. Now, if I go back in and add more colors, I can't add them to this job anymore.
I see.
You have to create a new one. But now, for instance, I can delete these. I can take this chart and this chart, print that, sublimate it, look through it, find the perfect color, and then you'll have on the chart you'll have a CMYK mix. And if you go into name colors, then all you do is replace these values with your new values that you got from your printed chart. And that's how you actually finish the replacement. So you have to use your starting values that were generated from your ICC, print a similar chart, find your new values, your new CMYK, and then once you've done that, you replace your current values with your new values, and then you hit OK. And then from then on, whenever you print that named color, it will print using the new values that you just got from your color replacement chart.
I see. All right. So each swatch has a corresponding CMYK recipe. We're going to do a visual analysis, or we're going to hit it with a spectro, see which one we like the most, and then just go back and enter the preferred recipe into the corresponding name color, and then you're done.
Yeah. And then from then on, whenever that color is used in your artwork, it will be replaced by the correct values that you've set.
So that's a really great way to ensure a high level of accuracy and a high level of QC. You perform a fairly rigorous QC process when you're doing the evaluation, and then once you're done, the values don't change, the art files don't change, you're off to the races.
Yep.
That's great. Well, that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and please contact us if you have any questions.